What is up, everybody? Welcome to DFS, no punt intended, right here on DSM Media. We're live, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube. You know the drill. Hit that share button. Hit that retweet button. If you're on YouTube, hit that subscribe button as well. We're live here every Thursday night, breaking down all the main slate on DraftKings. But we're also here to answer any of your fantasy football questions. Only way to get your questions on is to jump over to YouTube there, hit that subscribe button, and hit your comments in the comment section, and we'll answer them live on the air. We are brought to you always by Manscaped. Use promo code DFS at checkout. Really key, DFS. It gets you 20% off and free shipping. And the reason why you want to use promo code DFS is because it supports Jason and I. You know, and we got to show up the rest of the DSM crowd. You know, that we get the views, not everybody else. We do. So let's support Jason and I. Use DFS at checkout. So we got a guest back. You know, he's coming back. Yeah, he was on the show about a month ago. He's the founder. He runs Fantasy Team Advisors. Braden, you know, he's at advisors_team on Twitter. When I put out that I've won, 3 of the last 4 of the 3-way contest, he's like, dude, I need another shot at this. I want another shot at the round.
It's true.
So welcome back to the show.
Thank you. I've been salty ever since the last time when I was leading a lot, and then all of a sudden I look away, I come back and absolutely destroyed. I think that's what happens when we took Tony and he played like one snap and he was out. And
was that the Tony week? Okay,
that was Heineke didn't do anything against Kansas City, and it was just a mess.
Oh yeah, that's right. It was the Heineke week where I changed all my lineups.
Yep.
And started them all with Heineke, and then that whole thing happened. I forgot about that. Forgot about that great moment there. That we were all on him, and it was his worst week. Well, welcome back to the show.
Thank you.
And for anybody that didn't catch your last show, please again explain all there is to know about Fantasy Team Advisors and that kick-ass website that you run and all that hard work you put together, for those spreadsheets every single week.
So Fantasy Team Advisor has been around since 2014. Mainly it's all DFS. We answer fantasy football questions as well. I believe since the last time we talked, I've been doing weekly rankings, but I added the defenses. I added kickers into that for PPR. So it helps out with your season long as well as DFS, because obviously if they're ranked high, you can build your lineups around there. So I've got that. I do have the matchup tool, which is a huge tool. Every single position, and then we break it down by all the stats the defenses have given up, and then we give you all the targets or all the players to target for FanDuel and DraftKings. So those are there. If we get into it, I have the top 5 at each position written down for DraftKings. We have DraftKings and FanDuel on that matchup tool. And and when I say like running backs, if there's a team that, 2 or 3 running backs are, playmakers, they're on that list, and all their stats for 2021 are there. Same thing with wide receivers. You've got teams that have 5 wide receivers that can play a role. So any player that has an impact that has over 100 yards on the year is in this matchup tool. And that is part of the premium content that we have. So
if I remember correctly, it's $10 a month for your.
It's $19.99 right now.
Oh, $19.99. Okay.
Yep. So that gets you all the weekly sports. We're kind of going back off of NBA and MLB. Well, MLB's done, but I found out I can't really do daily like NBA, MLB, and stuff like that when I have a 2-year-old that I have to take care of at the time of lock. So I can deal with all the weekly sports. So football, we've got MMA, and we've got PGA right now. So a lot going on, but a lot of great information over at fantasyteamadvisors.com.
Excellent. Jason, how you doing today, brother?
Dude, I'm doing so good. I'm ready for this week. Last week was rough for me. I actually broke even to the dollar at the last second, so I was so pumped. Like, it was the first time in a long time that I was pumped to make no money. You know what I mean? Just I didn't lose any money, but I didn't make any money, so I'm ready for this week.
Dude, I love your advice. You convinced me. So I've gone back. I've been on a hot tear the last 3-4 weeks because I've gone back to my roots on what made me successful in fantasy, golf, football, and on top of that, now last week, you convincing me to stay away from the 100,000, 300,000, person entry tournaments and just focusing on 100-person entry tournaments. And with my old philosophy back as my main philosophy, and using your strategy on picking events, I've had several weeks in a row where I'm doubling my money every single week, which in fantasy terms, you hope to double your money every single week and just hit one GPP eventually. That has to be the strategy. So I thank you for that advice there.
Of course, buddy. Yeah, I've been playing pretty much every sport. I've been playing 2,000 people or less tournaments. No more big tournaments for me. I feel like it's just a waste of money. And yeah, I might throw an occasional one here and there, like I did. I put occasional 2 big ones in golf this week, but just to see if I can hit the nuts lineup. But yeah, I think the smaller lineups is definitely where it's at.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what in golf this week in the Mayakoba Championship, I've got 7. I instead of maxing out the quarter entry with 30,000 people in it and putting 20 lineups, I picked a 236-person lineup and maxed out the 7 lineups. And I'm already after round 1. I know golf is a total different game, and every day, 4 days you can go. It's a roller coaster of a ride. But as of this moment, my 7 lineups are all looking pretty stout right now because I'm going up against 237 entries versus 30,000. So, are you in the same way with that there, Brandon? Are you focused? Do you focus on the smaller events or the bigger events?
So, lately it's been the smaller ones. It's been like, just depending on what it was. Like the past 2 weeks, the past 2 weeks. Well, I guess 2 weeks ago, I'm up 1,500 in sports betting, but I haven't been doing good with DFS. Last weekend, I didn't hit any of my sports betting, but I hit 500 in DFS, and those were single games. Those were, I think, it was either 1,000 or 2,000 entries, and I tied for first place in that. So, I mean, I'll throw in like the $300,000 line, but it'll be like the 25 cent. I'm not going to throw in like multiple $9. If I have it in a smaller one, I'll throw it in the big one just in case, because I don't want to be the one that scores 280 in football and then I didn't put it in the one time. But I'm not maxing out like 150 entries at $9 a pop or anything like that. I wish I had that kind of money, but I do not.
It's not just the money thing. It's unless, I mean, you put in a lot of work every single week with your research and your numbers on your website. But for guys like me and Jason, who we're doing research, we're reading your website, other people's websites, and putting together game theories and stuff like that. We would love to get rich doing it, but it's better just to, focus on the smaller. You said 2,000. When I do my filters on my lineups, I hit 1,000 max. Now that's my new thing. I hit 1,000 max and entries into a tournament, and that's where I look. Last week I had a lot of great success with those 100-person lineups, and I was sweating. I was this close to taking down one of them. I ended up finishing like 5th or 6th place, but that's the way to go in my opinion. At least that's what's been working for me. So there's that. All right, let's look at this week. We are into week 9. We're starting at the second half of the season here, basically. Which is great because trends, which is something that I'm big on, you now have 9 weeks worth of trends to really focus on. So we got some games. It's the second week in a row where the top, projected points game is the Sunday night football game. So we have to take the Rams and the Titans out of the equation for our main slate on Sunday. So I'll ask you first as the guest. What's the game that you're looking at the most this week, where you think theory wise the most fantasy points should come out of?
Just depending, just kind of looking at the lines, how they've moved from when they opened up. I mean, the Baltimore-Minnesota game, if Minnesota can keep that close, I think that could be a shootout there. Not prime time, so Kirk isn't going to, shit the bed there. He's got a chance there.
I actually wrote that note down. It's not prime time.
Not prime time.
Don't forget, we got a Michigan State guy here on the show. So he loves his Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, well.
That didn't sound very confident.
He doesn't know what to say.
I do. Last time I was on the show, Iowa was ranked 2 in the nation. Now we're not. So it's hard to.
We're not.
It's I'm part of the team. I'm the water boy. That's a good one. I really like Lamar here, but again, he can run all over them. He can pass the ball. He's got a bunch of options there. The whole running back situation's a mess, though. They have 47 running backs that are by committee, so you don't know who's going to go there. Cincy and Cleveland, prior to last week, I would have said I'm all over Joe Burrow. I mean, he lost to the Jets. That cost me all of my parlays because I had the money line of Cincinnati. And I had like a 5-leg parlay. That was the 5th leg, lost it. The one that honestly, I know it's trending down. I know Kansas City's now a 7.5-point favorite, but according to the matchup tool, Jordan Love is the number 1 quarterback against this defense. His price is super cheap. Kansas City's giving up 23.47 points per game to the quarterback. He's super cheap. I know it's going to be super chalky, but flashbacks of Heineke against them, I get that, but their defense is bad. For DFS purposes, they should have they're going to have everyone back, I believe, right? Like the only one gone.
They announced today that Devontae Adams is back, so
he's back.
So you're projecting it to be a chalky game. A lot of people taking Jordan Love.
I think so, just because of his price and how bad the defense is. What is Jordan Love's price?
5,400.
Yeah, 4,400.
Oh, 44? I thought I had him at 54. I might have written it down wrong.
Let me see.
Let's see here. I got it. It's 44. Yeah,
40,
I mean, I had it written down wrong.
Super cheap.
Super cheap. Yeah. You're gonna see that,
especially with Devontae Adams back.
Yeah. You got Adams.
I actually love that game.
Yeah, I do too.
Absolutely love building my lineup around Jordan Love there.
I mean, Lazard is back. I think Valdez-Scantling might be back.
I think he is too.
He's still in the injured reserve. Let's see. Yeah, he should be back. Maybe not. But, I mean, he's just – everyone's there. I think A.J. Dillon could have a good game if Love is sucking it up and, Aaron Jones gets hurt or he needs a breather.
You're like writing off every single note I wrote down.
Yeah.
I love Love. I love putting Jones and Adams with him.
Yep.
I love, taking Jones out and being different and going A.J. Dillon. I think that's a way to go. I love throwing Travis Kelce in there. I know it's super expensive, but I like there's some cheaper, wide receivers that can, balance that out. I'm all over some combination of Jordan Love, Aaron Jones, A.J. Dillon, and Devontae Adams this week.
I probably
– You're kind of scaring me a little bit. I was thinking maybe I knew some people would play it, but I thought maybe Jordan Love would scare some people away as well.
He's only, what is he done?
He's never started a game in his career yet.
7 complete attempts in his career, which, okay, I get that. But he's still, technically still hasn't thrown an interception in the NFL, so that's a plus. But yeah, I really love that game. The Phillies and the Chargers game, or Phillies, the Eagles and the Chargers game, I like. Arizona, San Francisco, a little bit, just depends on what side of the ball. Kittle's back, but Kyler Murray's, he's not 100%, so we'll see there. But there's a lot to dig into. I would love to see. So I'm one that looks at trends. So I'm going to look at like what the opening lines are now, and then Sunday morning, 8 a.m., I'm going to look at what the lines are at that point. I haven't even looked at the weather yet, so I don't know if there's any weather concerns. There's no
games I'm focused on. The weather is not a concern, and you've named 2 of the games I'm focused on.
Yeah, so there's a lot to like in this week.
Yeah,
and hopefully we're all bringing home the bacon come Sunday night.
I want to know Jason's thoughts on the whole Jordan Love and that game as a whole. Is it going to be chalky or not, and do you like it or not?
So first off, we're gonna crop out the part when you said "I love love." That's gonna be the little slogan for this
okay.
show.
I love love.
I love love.
Anyways, all right. Write down the timestamp. Get one of the guys at DSM. He'll crop it out, and you can just play that on repeat over and over again.
I'm not sure about that one. I've been going back and forth about that one too. I don't know. I was thinking he probably wouldn't be chalky, but hearing it now,
that's what I was thinking.
He might be. I thought for some reason I thought 5,400 too. So yeah, 4,400 is insane for a quarterback. So. I don't know. I probably won't play that game as much, but I can definitely see why people will, especially in cash lineups or smaller fields. It's like quarterback for 4,400. That's pretty legit. I like the Baltimore game a lot too. I think that's actually an over candidate. I think that game might go over. I also like Dallas a lot this week. That's probably my favorite stack, just because the weapons are priced down a little bit. Dak's only 6,900. He's been really good. Obviously, we know that 16 touchdowns, 4 picks, 28.2 over his last points per game over his last 3. Cooper's only 5,700, so I really like stacking him with Cooper. Especially if CeeDee Lamb he's not practicing. He's dealing with an ankle injury, so I think Cooper might, kind of be pretty solid this week. And I like pairing them with Jerry Jeudy a lot. He's only 5,000. I feel like that's it's almost like a value lineup but you have studs. So I think I like that game a lot too.
All right. Well, I want to jump at the Baltimore game first. First of all, I've got a lot of exposure to Baltimore because obviously Team DSM, our redraft league. I am in first place. I'm crushing that 12-team league. I'm the highest scoring team, and Lamar Jackson's my quarterback. So I always have a lot of focus on Lamar Jackson. The problem is I look at it, and look, we all love Rashad Bateman. We like Bateman the last time you were on the show. We love his cheap value. His value hasn't gone up much, but he in the few games he's played, his targets have been there. Mr. Brown, he's only 6K. They're 26 stopping the wide receivers.
I feel like that's a misprice. I feel like Brown only being 6,000,
which confuses me to an extent.
Yeah, his price doesn't move at all.
But do you really want to stack Lamar, Brown, and Bateman? Because you really can't put any of their running backs there. And I think you could do better than Mark Andrews. Either go up to Kelsey or go cheaper. So my concern is I love Lamar Jackson this week, but do I love stacking that game? And that's where I guess you could go, say Jackson and one of the wide receivers, then come back with Dalvin Cook, because Baltimore really isn't as good against the run as they used to be, or throw an Adam Thielen in there or something like that.
That's
what it's going to be a shootout. So maybe just go two Baltimore guys and one or two, Minnesota guys. I just can't. I can't come up with a Baltimore stack in my mind that I feel confident in.
I think you don't go crazy in that game. I feel like what you just said. I think Lamar Jackson and Brown. I like stacking those two guys, and you can come back with really Thielen or Jefferson, but Jefferson hasn't been that great the last 2 weeks. No. And Thielen, he's just solid. 18 points a game, 8.4 targets a game, and he's got 6 touchdowns already. So I like Thielen a lot at 6,900 this week. So I feel like that's a pretty solid stack. Obviously, that game's a little bit expensive, so you don't want to go too crazy.
So I'm actually going to ask you both. So this was not the question I told you guys I had come up with, a theory that I've never done before, but that just kind of introduced a new theory into my head. Is there a stack? Is it something that you've seen done before where maybe you go you go quarterback from one team and then you stack the game with everybody else from the other team? So you go Lamar Jackson and then you go say Dalvin Cook and Adam Thielen. I've never done that either before. But when I'm sitting here thinking about it, it's something that I could conceivably see myself doing.
So
it's not something traditionally done.
It would be,
it's off the realm of normal, in DFS.
Yeah. If you make multiple, I would say if you make multiple lineups, I don't know, let's say 20 lineups, whatever it is. If you're taking Lamar Jackson, you expect him to put up whatever, let's say he puts up
points.
Yeah. And, and then you come back and you come back with the running back situation type thing. If they're that far behind, I don't know if they're going to run the ball as much. Okay. But yeah, if you're making multiple lineups, you might as well, because that's going to be super underowned. If it hits, you're probably going to be in the top 5 with that. As long as everything else goes correct. Yeah. The normal thing is you would take the quarterback, a wide receiver of theirs, and then you come back with another wide receiver just because you think it's going to be a shootout. If you want to make multiple lineups, I think that's kind of
I'm just trying to look at it as a different, a contrarian, just something unique that people don't do. Because again, I love Lamar Jackson this week. I just don't like his complementary pieces this week.
I would agree with that.
Jason, what do you think about that?
So I don't typically like to do that just because I don't like kind of what we were talking about before is I kind of like coming back with a wide receiver just because I think Minnesota's going to be playing from behind in that game. So I don't – plus Dalvin Cook hasn't been the same Dalvin Cook this year.
He's still expensive. He's still priced up there.
Super expensive. Absolutely.
So I don't know.
He was only back one game so far from his injury, really.
Right. I just think it's too expensive for me. And I think that it's negative correlation, I think, a little bit if you have the running back and the receiver, just because if you think it's going to be a shootout, I don't think Cook's going to be super involved in the running game.
All right, that's fair enough. It's just something I was thinking of. And, Brandon, you brought up the Eagles game with the Chargers. This was my other random question. We talked about, I just talked about, stacking a quarterback with the other team, I actually hate the Eagles-Chargers game because last week's Eagles game and the fact that all of a sudden the Eagles are a run-heavy team kind of takes some of the value of Jalen Hurts out of the equation. And both the Chargers and the Eagles are really bad against the run. Is there any form of a theory of stacking both running backs, say Boston Scott from the Eagles and Austin Eckler from the Chargers, and then coming back with, say, a Dallas Goedert or a Keenan Allen or Mike Williams, and not actually using a quarterback in a stack? They're both going to be really heavy run teams that are going to run the ball a lot this week.
First off, I used my waiver wire pickup for Kenneth Gainwell last week.
Yeah, and I had a lot of Gainwell last week.
This is my season long.
Yeah,
I still won, but I didn't even realize Jordan Howard was still in the league for one.
A lot of people didn't think that.
No depth chart even had him above like 4. Boston Scott. Okay, what's going on?
He had one rush the entire year before last week.
I'm well aware. That unbelievable. But I don't know how. I don't know how you. Eckler's more of a pass catcher too. So I mean, he is a running back. Same with Cordarrelle Patterson. I mean, he's a wide receiver, but no, he's a running back. So you can take those kind of quirks and you can make your lineup like that, knowing like, well, if you had Patterson in there, if you had Eckler in there, I mean, you technically have like 5 wide receivers in there in your lineup. So if you want to think about it that way, just depending on who you take, like if you're taking a mobile quarterback like Hurts, but then you've got 14 running backs that are going to get in the game, it's going to take it away from there. It just kind of depends. I'm more of the theory, 9 times out of 10, the more profitable way is, stack your quarterback wide receiver. You could take the other running backs. It just depends. If you think it's, I mean, a lot of these games
this is something that I just came up with today. I've never done this before, but I'm sitting there trying to build it. And this game seems like it should be a fantasy gem of a game, but I'm like, I can't trust Hurts now after last week. And honestly, the Eagles pass defense is actually their best trait. So if you're not going to go with Eckler or, a tight end, what's their tight end? Jared Cook or
Parham is Cook,
I mean,
and then
they're
Parham's
the only options really that the Eagles can't cover. So you don't want to go Herbert, you don't want to go Hurts, but I love this game. So I don't know. I'm kind of confused coming up with these unique theories that I've never thought of before.
Yeah, I mean, if you've got another like stack that you want to do with like just one quarterback and their top wide receiver, and you want to come in a completely different game, you want to come back and use that. I don't mind that. Again, if you're into making single lineups, you only play like 5 lineups. I don't know if I would go this route. But if you're, throwing in those massive $300,000 or 300,000 person tournaments or 25-cent ones, you got to get creative. That's how you're going to take it down. Yep. If you do single bullets, whatever you do, that you've got to get a little creative like that.
Okay. Hey, Phil, can I ask you a question? So last week, your Eagles obviously smoked the Lions.
Absolutely.
How is it possible to score in the 40s, yet none of your weapons get more than like 5 points?
Devontae Smith had 1 catch. Jalen Reagor had 1 catch. I have no idea. Oh, man. That was I don't even know how to grade last week's game because it was so unique to everything that we've seen from the Eagles this entire year. It wasn't like it was week 1 or 2 and we didn't have a trend. The Eagles were a pass-heavy team, and all of a sudden, like that, became a run-heavy team.
Yeah, exactly.
With like their 3rd and 4th string running back at that. Not even their top 2 running backs. Their 3rd and 4th string running back. So
that's what happens when you go up against a team that's not even an NFL team.
Yeah, absolutely. Hell, I had a really big same game parlay last week with the Eagles game, and all I had, I was 5 out of 6 on it. The only thing I missed was Kenneth Gainwell, 30-plus yards rushing. Oh. And he had 27 yards rushing.
Yep.
That's not even
all he needed was 3 more yards rushing. And it was like $10 to like win almost 500. And that was the thing I missed on. I had Jordan Howard a touchdown. I had Boston Scott touchdown on there. I had all this stuff right. And that was the one that hurt me. And I was heartbroken on that. All right. Let's talk a couple other games I'm looking at here, guys. Miami, maybe Houston. The game I'm looking at. Tua maybe needs to prove himself. After them not making the trade for Deshaun Watson. it's a game that I think could maybe a Tua, Waddle, Gesicki. It's something that I've been looking at this week. And I'm also looking at Buffalo again. Allen, I think Zach Moss is a really good play this week, and Diggs is a good play this week. Finally starting to trend back to Diggs as a positive top-tier wide receiver. Either of those games on either of your radars this week?
I like the Miami game.
Yeah.
I like Tua just because, this is probably the worst football game of the week, realistically.
Absolutely.
But neither team can stop anyone. So, like you said, I like Tua. You can put him with Waddle, Gesicki, either one of them or both of them. And then Cooks on the other side. Talk about a guy that's just still too cheap. It's like, this guy's just solid. Like, he doesn't light the world on fire. And obviously, a lot of that's because of the quarterback play. But, 16 a
Tyrod
game.
Taylor's back this week.
Yeah. He's averaging 16 a game with a backup quarterback. And Miami's 30th against the pass. So, yeah, I don't hate that game at all.
Yeah. So is Taylor back? Is that
they
confirmed?
have they announced tonight? It flashed. I don't know when they did, but I was at the bar tonight. It flashed up on the screen that Tyrod Taylor was announced as the starter.
He is. So, according to the matchup tool, Taylor now has the second best matchup of quarterbacks on DraftKings. Miami gives up 21.73. I had Davis Mills there, but now I know Tyrod Taylor's there, and Tua's 5. He's the top. Those are the top 5. And Houston gives up 20.79. So, if you got Tyrod there, you got Brandon Cooks, and then just looking at the other running wide receivers on the matchup tool, the Texans have the second best matchup for wide receivers. First one's the Rams, but that's technically Texans have the number one wide receiver matchup here for the main slate. Miami's given up 43.63 fantasy points per game on DraftKings. So Brandon Cooks is there. If you want to get cheaper, Chris Moore, Chris Conley, Nico Collins, they all have 100+ yards. It's Cooks at 585 yards, and then it's Nico Collins at 166. And if you just look at like Nico, I'm sure he's 3,600. You want to go like Tyrod, Nico, Cooks, come back with like Waddle, Parker, whoever, Gaskin, like Myles Gaskin, if you want. I love this game here. In theory, this should be a 59-58 game. So I'm sure it'll be like 20-19 or something. But as long as those
7-3 ending score here.
3-2.
Yes.
But I really like.
Has that ever happened?
I don't know. Probably.
Keep talking. I'm gonna Google search that real quick.
But there's a lot of value in the Houston wide receivers if they go off. What is Tyrod? He is 5,000. He's cheap.
Wow, that's cheap. Yeah.
I'm actually going to write some of these notes down because I'm going to make multiple lineups.
It's never happened in the NFL, but it has happened 6 times in the NCAA.
Yeah.
So, you know, as I started typing it in, I didn't even have to finish typing it because it must be typed before. It has happened 6 times in college, 3-2.
That's a solid game too, like you just said, with Taylor being 5,000, Tua was only 5,800. So yeah, I like that game on both sides.
Absolutely. Yep. All right, so I want to jump to some other plays because we're talking about some of these stacks and stuff like that. So you're gonna have to get cheap somewhere across the board. And I love both of Denver's wide receivers in that Dallas matchup. I don't like Teddy Bridgewater, but if you want to either play Patrick or Judy, Judy's 5K, Patrick's 4,700. You know, to even keep it close, they're going to have to score a lot against Dallas. And Dallas, I know, Diggs is having a great season as a rookie there, but they do still give up a lot of points to Dallas defense. Do you guys like one or the other better as a value play at wide receiver to save some money there?
Well, there's Sutton too. Sutton's 5,900 too. So
yeah, Sutton too. I don't know if I consider 5,900 for a wide receiver value or not.
Right.
Just will really depend on what you're looking at. Broncos have the if you take out the Rams, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th best matchup for wide receivers. Mm-hmm. So yeah, Sutton, Patrick, Judy, depending on who you're going with there.
Judy's priced pretty cheap, but that's because he hasn't
just
really played much. Yeah, he just came back, but he just came back, and he instantly had a pretty strong game considering he had missed so much time. Four catches, 39 yards. So in week 1 he had 7 targets. So he's a guy that Bridgewater will go to eventually, and decent amount of time. So I don't think you're going to get him at 5K for very long. So I was kind of thinking that was a good value balance of a lineup right there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and with Dak being back, I think we're going to see kind of like what we saw last week in the Dallas game. So you're going to have to score some points, and this could be an under the radar when everyone else is focused on the other games as well.
Okay. Do you, Jason, like any other value wide receivers or guys that you think that can surprise? I have 5 names written down. I just named 2 of them, but any other guys you like?
It's funny because I think all the games we've covered, like the 3 that we've covered, have been the 3 games that I like as well. So yeah, I like the Miami guys a lot. We pretty much named all of them. I think the Denver guys,
value plays, like wide receivers, like some cheaper options.
I think the Denver guys, like you just named, that was my other one. That was my value receiver slot. So
I'm also looking at Hunter Renfrow from Las Vegas. He's still only 4,800. He still gets a crap ton of targets, and I don't want to get into the Henry Ruggs situation, but now that team's going to need him even more as a wide receiver. I'm surprised his price didn't spike. I guess everything happened after the lineups and prices had already been released. So he might be chalky and highly owned at 4,800, but still 4,800 for a wide receiver that's probably going to get 10 or 12 targets at a minimum is still really good value.
I don't know how to pronounce his last name. The tight end for the Broncos, Albert. Oh, I'm not even going to pronounce it.
You're not going to try.
Hold
on. Let's bring it up here.
With Fant being out.
I'm not even, I don't even know who he is, but I'm not even going to try to say that name either.
2,600 for a tight end. That could be another target for Denver. If people are going off the other ones, 2,600 opens up so much. Especially if you get one of those crazy lineups where you're going Jordan Love, who's under 5K, he's 2,600. You could stack on this. He's cheaper. Other stacks, when you're looking at, when you say cheap stacks, what do you have like a salary range, like a total salary of, let's say it's a quarterback, 2 wide receivers, or what are we looking at when you're total salary?
I think if you want to talk about a value stack, I think you got to be left with about 5,500 at a minimum. I got if you stack Miami, if you go Tua, Waddle, Gesicki, you're left with 5,600. To me, I consider that a value stack.
Okay.
Once you add your defense in there, you've got a lot of money left to play with.
You can put Cooks in there too, and that still leaves you at 5,520. So
exactly that 5,500 range, that's a value stack to me. If you're going in that boat, I like actually going all different directions with the Joe Burrow stack and that Cleveland-Cincinnati game. Joe Burrow's gonna have a little something to prove that losing to Mr. Witness Protection Program, Mr. White,
who's hurt now. He's out of the game tonight.
Oh, I guess I hit at least one of my 5 on my same game parlay. Then
if you took under
on the passing yards.
Yep.
Okay. Does that mean Joe Flacco's playing tonight?
I think so. I don't know. I don't know who the other quarterback is.
It's Super Joe Flacco there. So I wrote down 3 different things with the Cincy Cleveland game. You can go Burrow, come back with Chubb, and then play Chase in one. If you're playing a lot of lineups, you can go Burrow, Chubb, Chase. You can go Burrow, Chubb, Higgins, or you can go Burrow, Chubb, Boyd. And I think you can make a case that all 3 of them, if you're entering 20 or 30 lineups, all 3 of those are a place you could start. Jason, not a fan.
I'm not a huge fan.
You kind of gave me this
I have
disappointed
to play
dad look on that one.
I have to play Burrow this week in our season-long league because Aaron Rodgers has COVID. So
you didn't want to pick up Jordan Love?
No, I like Joe Burrow a lot. I'm just hoping last week was not the norm. Like he played terrible, and I hope that it wasn't the norm.
Absolutely. What are your thoughts on Cincinnati? And just if you're playing a lot of lineups there, and just just taking a different shot with each lineup.
That if you have a certain amount of teams that you think you want to stack, you play in a certain amount of lineups. Burrow, Jamar Chase right there. Joe Mixon has been on fire.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of looking at cheaper. Let's see. Looking at cheap options here. I mean, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd's 5,000.
Mm-hmm.
P. Ryan is there. I mean, I don't know why he's even getting touches, but I mean, he didn't have any rushes last week, had 2 receptions, but he had back-to-back double-digit games there. So he's a cheap option if you're playing multiple lineups. I don't mind, just depending on how you can mix it around. I think you want Jamar Chase in every single lineup with Burrow, though, and then you can kind of figure out how to get around that other than that.
Okay.
Uzama, love him.
Yeah.
I'm actually contemplating starting him over Darren Waller again, just because I don't know if Darren Waller's 100% and he's come through. Probably will still have to lean towards Waller if he's going to play, because as we know, Ruggs is out and Derek Carr loves Waller. I think 10 touches a game or at least look. So just depending on where you're going to go, I think Uzama could be one of those cheaper options you throw in there with multiple lineups as well.
A name that's very expensive. He hasn't even been announced that he's going to play. For redraft purposes, for season-long purposes, or daily fantasy, are you both staying away from Christian McCaffrey this week? I mean, he is trending. ESPN's got him projected to have 22 points in season-long leagues, which means he's trending towards playing. Personally, in DraftKings, I'm staying away from him till I see him. I have him in my redraft league. I kind of feel like I have to play him if he dresses.
What's his price on DraftKings?
$8K, I think it was.
$8K. Well, that's pretty cheap.
He's the second highest. The only other one above him is Kamara, which makes no sense because he's been out the whole time.
Right.
So yeah, Kamara's 8,200. Then McCaffrey's 8,000. He hasn't played since, was it week 3?
Yeah. Again, New England it's the 25th ranked run defense. So, it's a team you can run on.
Yeah.
So if he's healthy, there's a really good opportunity, that he's going to get the ball a lot and he's going to play. And Hubbard hasn't done anything to, if they're both healthy, it's not like Hubbard's going to keep some of this workload away from McCaffrey. It's not like he lit the world on fire or anything.
Darnold's also out.
Darnold's out?
He's got a concussion. He didn't do much. So it could be a PJ Walker, and
that's even more Christian McCaffrey then.
Yes, that's what I'm thinking. As of right now, it doesn't look like Darnold will play.
I didn't even notice that. I totally forgot about that.
You know what? Too, they were super cautious with him too. Like he almost played a couple weeks ago, and then they put him on IR to give him an extra 3 weeks. So I feel like if he's in, you put him in your lineups, and 8,000 is super cheap.
Yeah, for a guy that's probably in that 9,500 range.
Yeah,
8K is really cheap.
Yep. In season long, I would definitely trade him to me though, because you got to be careful.
Oh, yeah. What would you like? Let's negotiate a trade right here live on the air. What would you like to offer me for Christian McCaffrey?
I'll be nice to you. I'll give you Dalvin Cook.
I don't want Dalvin Cook straight up for Christian McCaffrey. You got to sweeten the pot a little bit more.
Joe Burrow.
I don't even know who's on your team. Remember, I'm 7-1, the highest scoring team in the league, and I've got 4 guys on IR technically still. And I'm still.
Listen, you're jinxing yourself so much you're going to lose in the first round of the playoffs.
I know I'm going to lose in the first round of the playoffs. It's guaranteed. Guaranteed. 3 of my 4 IR guys are projected starters were starters week 1, and I'm still 7-1. Just so you know,
nice.
You all just want to be just like me.
That's it.
I am losing in the playoffs round 1. I'm actually going to lose to the worst team, Scotty, and his 97 wide receivers this week probably.
Nice.
So the one of the guys in the DSM league, he accidentally forgot about the draft and he was set to auto draft, and he ended up literally with 9 wide receivers on his team.
He went the whole running back route.
It was just the way the league went, the draft went. Best player available. He got his 2 starting running backs, and his bench was completely filled with wide receivers. It was
the best part is it was like 9 wide receivers in the first 10 rounds or something too. It was something.
It was pretty insane. And he's actually surprisingly, he's 2-6, but he's actually the 3rd highest scoring team in the league. So, I'm scared this week. All right, let's build some lineups, boys.
Let's do it.
Let's see how we're going to do this week. Let me I was bringing up Carolina there just to talk about that.
This is a revenge game this week.
Yeah, I'm 3-1 in the last 4 weeks in this. So you guys got your work cut out. I've got 2 different stacks listed here that I'm going to go with. So depending on where our guest of honor goes, then I'm going to go second, Jason, because I don't want to lose my second.
Oh,
stack.
come on!
Nope. I'll let you go second. All right, guest of honor, you get to go first here.
So before I realized the game I wanted to target was not on the main slate, I was super excited. But what I think I'm going to do is, it was a toss-up, but I'm going to stack Buffalo here.
Okay, so Josh Allen.
I'm going to go Josh Allen.
Okay.
I'm going to go Cole Beasley and Emmanuel Sanders. I'm not going to pay up for Stephon Diggs.
That's fine. Because, again, I wrote down Diggs as a possible play this week. Why would you go Sanders over Diggs? Is it just a straight money reason, or is there something that you see in the trends?
I'm going with Sanders here. When you stack those 3, and then I punt the defense, it gives me right around, I want to say it was like 5,400 each.
Whose defense did you want?
I went with Miami. I'm going cheap. Tyrod, maybe, I don't know. Maybe he fumbles the ball. Maybe he throws in interceptions because he's rusty. And I'm just punting that defense. I know they're absolutely atrocious. They're
I'm going worse than that on defense, so that's okay.
I'm just going with that. It was that or the Packers, just because of, let's see, how much are the Packers? Packers
are 28. They're even cheaper. The Dolphins are 3,100. The Packers.
Let's go Packers.
You want to even get cheaper here? All right.
We'll go Packers there because the way Mahomes has been giving up interceptions, I can get some cheap points there, I guess. So
you got 5,600 left, so that's actually a lot. That's a value stack. Even though you went with Josh Allen, one of the highest guys after your first 4 picks, you got a lot of value left on the table.
And then I have some value plays written down. Depending on where I'm going with this one, I can't use that one because that's not the main slate, so that sucks. I'm gonna go Hunter Renfrow here.
All right, you're stealing my Renfrow.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with him right now.
He's my favorite slot wide receiver in football right now. So
we gotta go at what, 5,800.
You got 5,800. You got 2 running backs, your tight end, and your flex.
Let's go Amari Cooper there.
So Cooper's your flex.
Yes. So then
you got 2 running backs and a tight end, 5,833.
So, and everyone watching, you can use this matchup tool that I have at fantasyteamadvisors.com. But the number 1 tight end for this week, according to the matchup tool, the Ravens give up the most amount of DraftKings points at 19.5. I'm going to go Tyler Conklin. I'm pretty sure he's super cheap.
Dude, he so is.
3,
I have a lineup built already for this thing, and Conklin was my tight end. So now we have to change things up a little bit here. I love Conklin this week.
I mean, I'm averaging 7,200 at running back, and that opens up almost anything imaginable.
Yep.
So I'm going to go Eckler for there, and that puts me at 6,600. I'm going to go, who wasn't even looking at him. It's between, or Damian Harris as well. I know it's not the best matchup for him, but just look at his game logs are double digits the last 4 weeks. He's the number 1 there. It's between Cordarrelle Patterson. I know Saints have a great defense, but I mean, he's scoring every single week. He's getting double digits every single week. And he's getting a ton of points. And now that they lost Calvin Ridley for, I assume, the whole year, he's listed as a running back. Well, now he's listed as a running back. Well, he's a wide receiver all year, I thought.
He's been listed as running back for a little while now on DraftKings.
Okay.
There was a little while he was listed as both. Now he's just running back now.
I think on FanDuel he's listed as both.
Is he listed? Okay, maybe that's what I'm thinking. So honestly, it's Patterson, Josh Jacobs, Hubbard. Man, and you, like I've said,
I haven't even thought about Josh Jacobs because he kind of disappeared and he was injured a lot.
But then he gets
I don't even know what his logs look. He's actually been pretty consistent.
Double digits every week.
Yeah, hasn't had one of those 20-point games yet.
but 3 touchdowns last 3 weeks.
15, 16, 10, 17.
Let's
It's
go Josh
really
Jacobs.
Consistent.
Let's go Josh Jacobs to finish that out. I'll leave
I'm not trying to
400
help
on the
you with your
table.
team, but I just coached you into your team there, even though you're the expert with the website.
Yeah,
we got it. And
All
I mean,
right.
that's matchup tool. That's a lot of the matchup tool.
That's matchup tool right there.
Yeah, that's what I'm going with.
All righty. I'm taking a picture because I might just enter your lineup too in something else. We'll see. Since you're using your matchup tool there, I'm taking a picture of that one. So I know. All right, Jason, you didn't want me to go second. I'll let you go second.
No, listen, you're the winner.
No.
You go whenever you want to go.
No. I don't want to go. Jason, you go. Jason, you get to pick. You get to steal one of my 2 stacks.
So I'm gonna stack Dak with Cooper.
Okay, so
also.
I get both of my stacks available still.
And then I'm going
Dak,
Cooper, and then Judy as well from the same game.
Judy, I love Judy this week. I think there's a really good opportunity there with him, and I think he's a really good value right there. All right.
So I'm gonna go Eckler as well, running back.
Okay. Basically, just copying his lineup. It's okay.
Not even close. And then my other running back's gonna be Darrell Williams, the Chiefs running back.
Darrell Williams. Okay. Even though there's a slim chance CEH comes back.
That's okay. I'll still take it. All right, and then I'm gonna go.
Did you?
Deep flyer of the week, Rondale Moore from the Cards.
All right, I'll take that. I like that.
Going
48-66. Who?
Dan Arnold is going to be my tight end from Jacksonville.
Okay. Another good, solid pick right there.
Then I'm going
defensive flex.
Then I'm going Debo Samuel at the flex.
Okay.
And the Cowboys defense.
And Cowboys defense. Oops. I'm not taking a picture. Because I'm going to say this, you're going to win. But this is not a winning lineup.
Okay.
Oh man, I'm just kidding with you. It's a strong line. I love the Dak stack this week. So the Denver's defense is ranked where it is, but now without Von Miller, it's not taking that into account. So
the Dak stack, love.
The Dak stack is going to go. So you guys leave me open to go with my Jordan Love stack that I really want to do. So we are going Jordan Love this week. We're going Jordan Love. We are going Aaron Jones. We are going Devontae Adams.
Holy crap.
We are going heavy on these guys here. All right. That because Jordan Love is so cheap, I can go Aaron Jones and Devontae Adams and still have 5K. I love it. So I am going Eagles defense actually this week. I think they're starting to build some confidence. I like that. And I'm going back to the KC Green Bay game, and I'm going Travis Kelce as well. Not scared. Not worried about that there. So where are we here now with my lineup? All right, we're going to go Rashad Bateman as a wide receiver. I took actually notes tonight, so I have some names written down here. I wanted to go Renfro, but I want to stay completely different from you guys here. You have Judy. He has Renfro. So I'm going to go Tim Patrick. I guess I have to actually type it in. Here we go. There we go. There's Tim Patrick, Denver. So we're going to go him as my other wide receiver. And then we are going to go Boston Scott. He's going to go back-to-back games and have a big game for the Eagles again. Leaves me at 6,600. And the reason why, this is going to totally backfire, the reason why I encouraged him to take Josh Jacobs was so I could take Cordelius Patterson and be the only one with him. I kind of encouraged that because I really wanted to be the only guy to take Patterson this week.
So hey, question.
That's why I'm 3-1 in the last 4 weeks.
What's the story with Miles Sanders? He's out again?
He's on IR.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So he's out last week, this week, and next week at a minimum.
Gotcha.
So yeah. So we got Jordan. I'm going all in on this Jordan Love stack here. I really like it. My original lineup had Renfro in it instead of Patrick, but just to be different, I kind of switched it up there. I got all unique guys this week.
Nice.
Over you guys, but I like it. Yeah,
looks like a third place lineup.
Yeah, looks like a
third.
Yeah,
I got a
because
first
I'm
place
talking
in
trash.
mine.
The only reason why it's third place, guys, is because I've been talking trash all week. Because I'm 3-1 the last 4 weeks, I got to talk trash, and my trash talk just 120% always backfires. But it's okay.
Best kind.
I love it. I don't do this to make millions of dollars. I do this to talk trash and have some fun. That's why my team name is Book of Dillygaff. You know, again, nobody's commented or sent me a message that they know what that means. But
I have no idea what that means.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, Google search what the Book of Dillygaff means. Yeah, that's why I do this. You know, it's all good. All good. All right, guys. You guys any other things this week? Games you like to bet. I mean, we know you like the Rams and Titans game. We be putting a lot of money out there on Sunday Night Football with showdown slates.
I've been more into sports betting, so
Mhm.
I haven't been playing. I mean, I'm up 1,500 in the last few weeks just betting, just same game parlays, or multiple touchdown, just scores. But before we get into other games, all I need is Carson Wentz at 240.5. I need him over that tonight. So he needs about 100 more passing yards, and I need Jamison Crowder to get just one touchdown to go along with my Jonathan Taylor and Michael Pittman touchdowns.
28-10 at halftime.
Yes.
Is that the Pat McAfee one for tonight?
No, this is one I just made.
That's your own. Oh, nice.
$25 to win 476. So Wentz 100 more yards and Jamison Crowder to find some just pay dirt there.
Nice.
But betting,
Flacco was not the backup. Josh Johnson,
and I watched him.
Josh Johnson still plays football.
Yeah, last year when we had no other sports going on and XFL was going on, we had XFL and he was on. Him and PJ Walker were really good in the XFL. I mean, the defenses they were going against were high school janitors, but
dude, all I need tonight is Wentz over 225, and I've hit. I have -2.5 Colts, over 40.5.
You should have that.
One field goal.
Yeah.
I got Colts first half winner, which they've already hit. White's out, so under 253 hit. I might have a chance of hitting one of these same game parlays.
Yes. It's turned into an actual good game on a Thursday night.
Yeah.
But no, I love Cooper Kupp for 2+ touchdowns on Sunday Night Football. Van Jefferson, I could see him with Deshaun Jackson being gone. Van Jefferson was over Deshaun Jackson anyway, but I mean, he's super cheap. There's Robert Woods. I don't know the over-under of Matt Stafford yards. I haven't even looked at that yet, but I'll have multiple bets this week. Hopefully we'll be hitting. I do like to get the early same game parlay or the single games. Whichever ones are like featured on like I play more on FanDuel now because that's where my bankroll is. But the Denver Dallas game is a 1 p.m. game, so we could be looking at a single game there. Cleveland at Cincinnati, Houston at Miami. I'll have some lineups in there early, and what I like that is if I hit, then my bankroll goes up early because they pay out almost immediately, and then I can use that for the later games or sports betting.
That's kind of what I actually just make my straight up bets in the 1 o'clock games.
I don't want to wait all day.
Games.
Yeah,
and then when I hit, like last week, I had 3 games in the 1 o'clock. I hit all 3 of them. Plus, I parlayed all 3 of them, so I hit that as well. And then I was flush, so then I put a nice strong same game parlay into the Sunday Night Football game, which I didn't hit, but I kind of like to roll that way. I really I've been betting a lot of over unders versus lines, and I don't know, the lines just haven't spoken to me this year, and I've been hitting lately on the over unders, and this is a week I see a lot of over unders too. I kind of feel like the under on the Eagles game. The last I looked, it was like 50 or 50.5. I just don't think it's going to be that much of a shootout again this week. So I see that. And, man, I want to say the Cardinals-49ers game is going to hit the over. 49ers put up 33 last week. Cardinals are really trying to make a statement right now. I can see over 46 in that game as well. They're the things that jumped out at me at first when I first looked at it, but I'm going to wait till Saturday night, Sunday morning to make those bets.
That's what I was going to say. Like a lot of these lines
I wait to
open up.
See, the thing that me and Jason learned in golf, when we bet golf and do our golf fantasy show, sometimes you have to jump on a number right away. But in football, I tend not to jump on numbers right away. I wait to see how the trends play out.
I have a buddy who put $2,000. He's a huge Chiefs fan, and he has season tickets. And as soon as that game was over Sunday, and the line, I think it was Monday when that line came out, he put $2,000 on Green Bay -2.5, and then the news broke Rodgers being out, and now it's
Yeah.
Kansas City minus 7.5.
Yeah.
Wow.
So he's got to hedge that just to hope. But obviously COVID's a thing, and
COVID and injuries in football is just totally different than in other sports.
Yep.
You kind of just got to wait till, I try not to be, too jumpy with those lines. I try to wait and see how they play out, because especially with football, you can take alternate lines and alternate spreads.
Yep. You can.
It changes the odds and stuff like that. But as long as you're parlaying it, you can make it work in your favor. Jason, any thoughts on anything? Do you got anything you like this week? I mean, I don't know how you've been posting your 5 prop bets of the week. I haven't been tracking them, but I know a lot of them have been hitting lately.
Well, they were good until last week. I went 1-4 last week. So,
okay. So I didn't mean to bring that up.
Thanks for the plug, buddy.
Sensitive subject. Don't follow Jason Sullivan last week for the prop bets of the week.
So I haven't looked a ton at betting this week, but I do like one that popped out was I like Baltimore, Minnesota over 49.5. I just feel like that's kind of a low number.
Yeah.
So I like that one.
Yeah, no, I could see that. That's why I was either going to go with the Jordan Love stack or a Lamar Jackson stack anyway for our 3-way here. Because I definitely could see that one playing out to a shootout. I could see a 31-27, 35-31, some kind of a score like that in that game. So absolutely could see that happen as well. But I think your friend's going to win the 2.5 Packers line. So I think the Packers are going to surprise people this week. Kansas City.
But the problem is it's not going to be the better as good odds as it will be now.
Right.
Minus
exactly.
7.5. So I don't even know what the odds were. I'm sure they were at 2.5. I'm probably like minus 110. So you weren't getting your money back. But now, just looking, depending on what it is.
Yeah, I bet you'd be getting plus 210, plus 300 at minus 2.5 right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So absolutely.
It's brutal.
Oh, well. All right. Again, everybody, make sure you check out Fantasy Team Advisors website. You can follow him at advisors_team. He'll follow you back. He'll answer any of your fantasy questions, and check out his website. It's a fantastic site. So much great content, and he puts so much effort and time into building it. And outside of 4 weeks ago when he told us all to take Tyler Henneke, he's pretty much spot on every other time.
Yeah, if anyone's watching and you guys sign up, fantasyteamadvisor.com/plans, there's one membership. It's a month long, $19.99, NFL, PGA, MMA. If you sign up and you email me, support@fantasyteamadvisor.com, and you tell me you use this show, or you say where you saw it, anything like that, anything that's related to this, we'll give you a free month on top of that. So 2 months for $20. You cannot beat it.
That's awesome.
Absolutely. That's great. Jason, thank you as always. Couldn't do this without you.
Means a lot.
Yeah. This is DFS, no punt intended, right here on DSM Media. Again, make sure you check out our sponsors, Manscaped. Everybody has a Manscaped sponsor, but ours is the most important. So make sure you use promo code DFS at checkout. It gets you 20% off and free shipping. Support us. The holidays are coming. We could use the support because of the holidays, and you guys as well. Get somebody that you love, something from Manscaped. They'll appreciate it as well. Use the promo code. I'll be back tomorrow morning with Trending in the AM, Jeremy and I, the 5th episode. We have not overslept and missed an episode yet of our new morning show, Trending in the AM. You can't beat it. We got Sixers to recap. We got Flyers to recap. We're going to recap the Colts-Jets game as well. I did say this morning that it was going to be 31-17. I might have undersold the Colts a little bit this week. We're going to break that game down as well. I got Jason Voorhees joining us to talk Flyers hockey. And just stay tuned to DSM Media all weekend long. Shows every single day this weekend because we are now on the air 7 days a week. Who's Michigan State playing this weekend?
Purdue. At Purdue.
So that's a win, right?
Should be.
Yeah, should be. No problem. Iowa, are they even ranked anymore?
Yep. I think 19 now. Headed to Northwestern for a 6:30 p.m. game.
That's an awful time for a football game.
It's in Chicago, or I think it's around Chicago, but Northwestern always wins for no reason. So luckily it's 6:30 p.m. so I can drink all day, pass out before the worst offense in the world.
Northwestern is awful. So
I understand
The only reason why I know anything about Northwestern football is because Mike Greenberg always talks about them.
Right.
when he used to do the Mike and Mike show. That's the only reason why I know anything about Northwestern football.
All I'm going to say is Northwestern is awful. Yeah, Iowa had a total of 11 offensive yards last week against Wisconsin. So
that's not good. That's not good.
But we were ranked second in the nation for the first time in my life that I recall. So I've got that going, but I have literally nothing else going in my life for sports right now. So let's go.
There you go. And guys, real quick, I got to say, make sure you check out our t-shirt site. You can get the logos of all the shows. We've got some other cool content and designs there. DFS, no pun intended. You can get the show logo. I got it on right now. Smells. I haven't washed it since it came out of the bag from the shipping. It needs to get washed. I just wanted to wear it for the show tonight. Then I'll wash it and all. Everybody have a great night. We'll see you next week. Same time, same place, 9 p.m. Make sure you're tapped in. Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Twitch. Make sure you hit subscribe on all of them and follow on all of them. And we will see you next week. Let's all win GPPs this week, guys.
Yes, sir.
Let's
All
go.
right, let's cash and have a great weekend, guys.